everyone, and welcome to today's MSME Masterclass on hydrogen and steel making, a pathway to decarbonization. We are thrilled to have an industry stalwart with us, someone who has played a pivotal role in shaping the future of iron and steel industry. I am pleased to introduce Mr. Susanta Ghosh, the COO and Business Unit Head for Green Steel at ACME Group. With an illustrious career spanning over 3 decades, Mr. Ghosh is a recognized leader in the steel industry, having driven large-scale projects and spearheaded sustainable innovations in green steel and hydrogen-based steel making. He leads a groundbreaking green steel initiative at ACME, leveraging captive green hydrogen solar energy and advanced production technologies to create low-carbon metals. His extensive experience includes leadership roles at global giants where he has successfully led multi-million-ton greenfield projects and driven operational excellence. Today, he will share his insights on hydrogen and steel making, a pathway to decarbonization, shedding light on how the steel industry can transition towards sustainability and decarbonization. Without further ado, let's welcome Mr. Susanta Ghosh. Welcome, sir. Welcome to our MSME Masterclass.
Thank you.
Pleased to have you.
Thank you, and I appreciate your very glorious introduction. I try to do what I can do with my 30 years of career, starting for a very humble family in northeast of West Bengal, and today spending about 20 years abroad and then come back to India again. It's my pleasure to join in this session. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. We will begin the session with the first question to you, sir, which is with your extensive experience in leading greenfield steel projects, how has the vision for hydrogen-based steel making evolved over the past few decades?
Hydrogen-based steel making means that technically it means hydrogen as a reductant for steel making. Hydrogen as a combustion media is being tried in steel industry for long. Say companies like Linde is having their own hydrogen burners, etc., which is used for combustion processes. Now, hydrogen is not exothermic, it's endothermic. So it has some limitation while it used in combustion processes. Now, hydrogen-based steel making to replace as carbon as a reductant is a trend. I think it started about 12 years back somewhere in Finland, and from there it is now being, I should say, near matured. Today there are about 12 DRI plants are being engineered with dual fuel, hydrogen plus natural gas as a reductant in DRI. To be very straightforward with you, 100% hydrogen as a reductant to a DRI reactor is still as a myth or as a dream, because it will produce zero carbon DRI, and to handle the zero carbon DRI in further steel making is an issue. So that is my precise reply, that it has started 12 years back, just more than a decade back, and today the technology is near mature. My plant will start operation in Oman, Duqm from 2028, quarter 3, quarter 4. Prior to that, I think JSPL Duqm will start operation, but they are starting with natural gas and they are going in future go with hydrogen. There are plants in Europe which is operating right now. Very advanced stage is 1.3 million to 2.1 million ton reactor. In Egypt, 3 reactors are working, but they are not utilizing that much hydrogen in it because of cost. And in Emirates Steel, which is my old plant, they start using hydrogen, using a very small proton generator to produce hydrogen and inject in DRI reactor. The next 10 years, or say within 5 years, you will find at least 4 to 5 plants in operation, which will be really producing almost not zero, but within 500 kg of CO2.
Understood. So, given your leadership at ACME Group's Green Steel Initiative, could you also share a case study on how captive green hydrogen is being leveraged for low carbon steel production?
To answer this question, I want to take you back to geography. We are in the place we are blessed with solar power, particularly GCC and some parts of India like Rajasthan, Gujarat. So the solar production cost or solar efficiency is much more here in this part of the world compared with Europe. So Europe Green Steel initiative is mainly driven by hydropowers, which is also a green power, to be frank with you, but not solar, but green power. Then second is the reductant as hydrogen. So you need electrolyzers, and from there to produce hydrogen and then to use it as a reductant. For ACME, it is a very actually say it is a very fertile land in the sense they are market leader in solar. We have over 10 gigawatt kind of establishment being operation being constructed of solar. We have 4 places of active green ammonia projects going on, which is a derivative out of green hydrogen. And then you have from there you have this third parties green hydrogen is available, so we can control the cost of green hydrogen. So other reductant like natural gas, it is used from 25% to 50% level. So that reductant is also costly. Today's price of $3.5 or even $4 per million BTU in GCC, whatever price you see, you will not get it in 5 to 6 years. If you have to do the project, you have to do at $9 to $10 kind of prices. For example, Indian price is $12 of natural gas per million BTU. So your hydrogen cost should be in the hand. Our advantage is what? Our own solar, our own EPCs, and our very cheap cost of hydrogen is the main success story of ACME. As I told you, I have done nothing, but I have only used that hydrogen and connected it. So it's something like connecting the dots to create this steel business. So it is already a fertile land by my chairman, Mr. Upadhyay. He already prepared the land to do that in 10 years back. So I am only doing and connecting the dots in that sense.
So, considering you work with major steel producers globally, how do you compare the adoption of hydrogen-based steelmaking in different regions?
See, Europe is inhabitable. You have to go with hydrogen-based steelmaking in Europe because why? The reason is all the blast furnaces are age old. They have to reline or have to reconstruct the blast furnace. Also cost. Plus, it is a pollutant in that sense. So Europe is going to close the blast furnaces. You will see one after other blast furnaces is closed. China has already decided to close 100 blast furnaces across the country, and already if you see the company like HBIS, they are closing the blast furnace, putting up an electric arc furnace in the place of BOF converter. So using the advantage of the same shade, same civil, etc., to reduce the capex. And then you are adding up hydrogen over there and then put up the DRI plant. So the geographies like China, I should think that another 5 years time you see if you see today, I mean, to give you an example, our Platts index of slabs or hot rolled coil, which is a global index or fast market. In this index is about today 70% blast furnace, 30% DRI. This proportion will go up and up. And I think by next 5 to 6 years, it will hit around 42-45%. And 10 years, when you will become my age, then that time it will be more than 200% hydrogen.
Noted, sir. So, what were some of the most significant technical or operational challenges you encountered when implementing hydrogen-based steel solutions, and how have you addressed them?
See, hydrogen is a better reductant than natural gas. So it can use and utilize substandard iron ore to make steel. It is a key lesson for Indian steel makers, and they have to see that, say, currently Indian iron ore industry is majorly operating at 61 to 63% grade Fe grade of pellets. So with this grade of pellets, you can still produce HBI if you have proper hydrogen with you in place of natural gas. So hydrogen is a better reductant, it will give better recoveries, better Fe yield, etc.
Since you've led multi-million ton steel projects, what key lessons can smaller steel producers, MSMEs, learn from large-scale green steel transitions?
See, number one is that the MSMEs, couple of things MSMEs can do. They can think that, see, Government of India already published a taxonomy for green, say 1.x, 5-star, 4-star, 3-star, like that. So what MSMEs can do, when MSMEs select the steel for their own fabrication, I would request them to bring this specification into their supply specification, into their technical delivery condition. I'm not asking them to take a price of that, asking them to take a choice. Suppose if there are two girls comes for the interview, I have got a choice. So suppose a plant which is producing, if they certify my CO2 level is 2 ton and somebody certifies my CO2 level is 1.8 ton, so I must select that, I must take that steel. If the price is same, then you can negotiate with that. That should start from MSME. When MSME is a main pillar of Indian transformation of decarbonization today, it will not be from us or from Tatas or GSWs. It is MSMEs who can transform the industry by they should demand this in their specification. I need this steel. If you don't demand, then how the upstream this message will percolate? Correct. If you demand only, you can create that kind of cake what you are looking for.
Absolutely right, sir. So what strategies do you recommend for steel businesses looking to integrate green hydrogen into their operations while managing high costs?
See, it's a myth again to have the high cost. See, suppose a fabricator in India fabricating a component or making a machine, if he has got an upstream hot rolled coils or plates made out of hydrogen plus natural gas or hydrogen as a reductant, certainly it will have a low CO2. So if you see that yesterday the European Commission has come out with their decrees. I don't know whether you have seen or not. Yesterday, quite late evening, 8:30 Indian time, it published. I was going through that publication. It says couple of things. First is CBAM is inevitable. There, whatever Trump says, drill baby drill, but it is completely 180-degree reverse, 360-degree opposite proposal. And thanks to them that they have to, our generation have to do something for the environment. And see, now summer is coming, you can see that what kind of summer this will be. At least 4 to 5 degrees centigrade temperature increase. This is all are the major impacted by steel. You have to understand that you have a different kind of rainfalls, etc., etc. So MSMEs, as I told again, the moment MSMEs start demanding into their specification that I need steel of 1.6, suppose they are making a fabricated components going to some places. Even Middle East have started talking on that line now. They should start certifying CO2. Suppose they are not asking you to make with 100% net zero steel. You make 10%. You drop down your load, like Indian automobiles. Automobiles ancillaries. Automobiles should specify this. Why automobile is not specifying this CO2 level? Because they now already have a yardstick from the government. MOS has already published the decree, so they should go ahead with that. So I don't think there is any problem at all in selecting any hydrogen-based steel.
Now, moving on, so how can MSMEs within the steel supply chain align with large corporations in their decarbonization efforts?
See, as I told you, one is the supply chain. What the product they deliver, Suppose any MSME is making some big fabrications, and if their total carbon is CO2 is 2.2, and if they say that I have first, you have to find out the plan. They have to make a robust target. I will drop down to 1.8. They have to see that how they should. One of the way to achieve is the change the specification. First, you change your purchase specification. I'm not asking to put the money. That is number one. So they will get the benefit out of low CO2 product going out of India.
Right. So, in your opinion, what is the biggest roadblock to making hydrogen-based steelmaking financially viable in today's market?
See, this is again, I should not say is a media hype, but it is to some extent like that. Hydrogen is always not make the steel that costly. In the sense, it depends on the application. Example, suppose you want to produce a CRNO or CRGO, cold rolled, grade oriented kind of things, where hydrogen is a great effort. It will increase your yield by 2 to 2.5% into from liquid steel to finished product. So that is the money, isn't it? So for CRNO, $2,500 a ton in 2.5% yield improvement itself captures hydrogen cost. So it is product to product, application to application. So as I told you, this statement is a very generic statement and is something like a media hype. I don't support this.
Could you highlight a real world project or partnership where hydrogen based steel production has reduced emissions?
See, there you use two words. One is partnerships and emissions. Partnership, as I told you, that India, GCC, they are the main countries to produce semis or metallics of hydrogen based, which Europe can use it, other continents can use it. Number one. That's even we also talking with some of the world giants now. They also partner with us. We are not going to produce the full cycle of hot rolled coils. We'll be doing up to slab. Let them take our slab. So they'll be very low carbon, low CO2 slabs. So that will improve their revenue, improve their branding, sales penetration, etc., etc. And hydrogen-based steel to reduction of the emissions are very, very straightforward. This mathematics is known to everybody. It's not a discrete mathematics or in discrete algorithms. If you use 50% hydrogen in DRI, what is the CO2 levels are there? It is proven, tested. So I don't think there is any doubt of that in terms of technology.
Noted, sir. With regards to availability and pricing, how does the availability and pricing of green hydrogen impact the competitiveness of hydrogen-based steel making compared to traditional methods?
See, again, it depends on the overall things. I am giving you an example of SAIL, Steel Authority of India Limited. Okay, their total CO2 levels is, I think, 2.32 as per published figure, 2.32 tons per ton of liquid steel. Suppose if I tell them that you use my HBI of 500,000 ton out of total production of, I think, 15 or 20 million ton, which is nothing, and then use these to reduce your coke rate. So your current coke rate of SAIL blast furnaces are, say, 450 kilo or 420 kilo. It's not 300, of course, at least 400 kilo. If you use 25% of HBI, you can easily drop down the coke rate by 30% and increase the production by 10%. So, you reduce the sinter, you reduce your coke rate. So economics wise, it is viable. You can't see only the price of that particular product. You have to see a total cost impact.
Right. So you've been at the forefront of sustainable innovations yourself. Are there any breakthrough technologies in hydrogen-based steelmaking that excite you the most?
Yes, that is one is coming up. It's called Voltrans. It's a technology by ArcelorMittal plus my good friend Franco Ahmad, John Cochran. So that will be another disruptive one because it doesn't use DRI. There is a salted bath, so you use hydrogen to directly at high temperature directly reduce the iron ore to do this. OPEX is higher than conventional hydrogen-based steel making. But that is not a problem. But problem is the capex is very high so far. But plant is hardly, they are trying a pilot plant now 15 or 20 ton. So more is going to come. So this is the technology we have to watch, and I think in coming days this will be a technology in next 5-10 years time.
Understood. So, considering the global steel industry's trajectory, do you foresee a tipping point at which hydrogen-based steel will outcompete conventional production?
As I told you, next 5 years time, you see this index. See, the simple thing to watch on this, you go to first market index or Platts index of hot rolled coil or flat products, hot rolled coil or these slabs. Then you see today's index is composites of 70% blast furnace, 30% DRI. And this 30% DRI today is 100% is natural gas based DRI, and hardly 1% maybe hydrogen based DRI. These composite figures will change in next 5 years. So it is worthwhile to watch with the premium of CO2 in Europe market, or if government of India is the first country in the world to come out with a very clear-cut strategy. I don't agree with the numbers, but strategy is very clear. If you have 2.2, this 5 and less than 1.6 is you are 5-star. So at least this part they have done. Thanks to that first country in the world. Everybody talks, but nobody has got this kind of clear-cut rules. So if government of India comes out with the numbers, if somebody is producing 1.2, you should get $30 extra by the buyer. Then job is done, and it can only be done when MSMEs start demanding that products.
In addition, what role do you see government policies playing in accelerating the adoption of hydrogen in steel making, particularly for emerging economies?
See, emerging economics, I say Indian economics, if you see, or even today's the other advanced economies, everybody need to come out with a clear-cut strategies. Say CBAM is not yet clear. Yesterday night circular is somehow onto that approach. Japan is not that clear. South Korea is not that clear. So they have to come out with a strategy. Okay, suppose you use automobile, you use cars, you use trucks, you use aeroplanes. So this is the limits you have to control. You have to give a fixed limit, and next 10 years you have to achieve this. That is the first thing every government has to do, because I don't think that this will be done in the UN level or in G8 level. I don't think it is possible. It is only possible by individual countries. Through your forum, I request government of India to think on this. They have done a wonderful job of coming out with this policy. Now they should start implementing it. That they should put a note that all steel products should follow this. And they suppose 2% is bidding for any projects, any construction projects, government projects. So if the price is same, if somebody's CO2 level is lower, he should be getting it. Let them give this 2-line decree. Mr. Sandeep give this 2-line decree, then whole world will be flooded. Whole India will be flooded towards hydrogen-based steel making.
Right, sir. So with rising carbon taxes and border adjustment mechanisms, how should steel manufacturers prepare for evolving regulatory landscape?
This is very important subject, and knowledge of Indian CBAM knowledge is very poor in Indian space. Very few people understand that. Few people are understanding is not like our GST or anything. It's a different thing. It is not purely commercial. It is commercial and technical also involved. Understanding the laws are very important, and how to tune your country's laws towards that is very important. And third is that steel manufacturers must prepare for this. Indian fabricators, suppose total export to India fabricated items or total composite items, if it is extra, and see like yesterday's decree, what this says, Russian semis should be zero, import quota should be zero by 2030 to Europe. So that is one of the outstanding step European Union has taken. I'm not going to the geopolitics part of it, but I am saying the opportunities of Indian fabricators will be there. The moment they want to approach that market, they'll be arrested by their original CO2 is high, so they can't send it, or if they have to send it, they have to give the premium or penalty. So they have to gear up now. MSMEs have to gear up now. I request MSMEs to do two things: put up in the specification, start demanding CO2 from the majority steel players, their upstream stakeholders, so that everybody is streamlined. And through you, again, I request Government of India to look into it.
Since ACME Group integrates solar energy with hydrogen, green hydrogen, how critical is renewable energy availability for scaling hydrogen-based steel production?
100% critical. Without that, you can't do anything. It has to be renewable energy. It can be solar, it can be, what is that called, hydro, anything like that. I don't think nuclear will be an immediate fate in India because it takes a lot of time, approvals to build up that project. The recent in UAE, the two project Baraka, they took almost 8 to 9 years to build up the 600 megawatt into two plants.
So what would be your advice to steelmakers who are hesitant to transition to hydrogen-based production due to uncertainties around infrastructure and supply chains?
There is no uncertainty. If somebody want to reduce the CO2 level, ACME is there to help any steel manufacturers in India, which we are talking, where we can come in. We can give you our low CO2 HBIs, which you can use in your blast furnace. To first is easy. Hydrogen injections in blast furnace is again a myth. There are only 2 plants which is successfully doing it for a period of 2 to 3 months. One is Clips in USA, sometimes in ThyssenKrupp in Germany. Apart from that, nothing. Even Japanese also given up. Because why? Blast furnace is built up. Say like today, you want to be a 100-meter runner. It's not possible, isn't it? I'm sorry to say that. It's not feasible, isn't it? It is very tough to do it. You have to change your body habits, dietaries, exercise, etc., trainers, coach. The blast furnace like that, it is already built up. So you have to inject something which is endothermic. It needs a lot of change in that region, which is not possible in its lifetime. When it goes to relining, it is possible. A relining of blast furnace 10 to 15 years later. So only way is to add HBI into the blast furnaces. It is sweet and simple. Don't think otherwise. You reduce, suppose you add 30 kg HBI, you reduce sinter by 40 kg, 45 kg, and coke by 15 kg. That's right. So you drop down your cost of coke, you drop down your pollutions, you drop down your improve your coke recovery, etc., etc. We are there to open. See, if somebody want to talk with us through you, I'm telling you, I'm open.
So we've seen many steel fabricators rely on traditional steel inputs. How can they adapt to and benefit from the green steel revolution?
Yes, they should take this benefit with the particular era of see, geopolitics supports this. I'm saying that US and EU overall geopolitics support this. They should take this advantage. To take this advantage, they have to fine tune towards lower CO2 steel making and products, and for which they have to start demanding that product from the upstream people. As I told you, as a first step, I am buying today 100 tons of steel plates. If there are 2 people, say company A and company B, price is same, where CO2 is lower, I select it. You do one time, that gives a total chain of reactions up to the top, through which they will be benefited.
Given your hands-on experience, could you share a practical roadmap for steel companies transitioning towards hydrogen-based production?
See, practical roadmap is that, as I told you, the important is that they have to first map the current CO2 level, what is the current footprint, which I think every company is doing it. They have to have a total plan of how to reduce scope 1, scope 2, and scope 3. So scope 1 is technological part. Scope 2 is mainly the power side of it. Scope 2 is easy in India, not easy in India. Why? India also got a limitation. Limitation is India's power grid is very robust, but it's a single grid, which has got a grid CO2 level is close to 780 kg per megawatt hour. So that is a very high level. Compared to UAE, it is 130 kg. So they have to use solar to basically mix with that grid. That is one engineering they have to do. So first is target scope 2, easier to target, and then scope 1, change your reduce the coke or carbon in the places as it is applicable. We are there to help. If anybody want to talk with us, we are there to help, because now we are running a practical projects and we have derivatives across the globe.
So now, from the standpoint of global collaborations, do you see specific global collaborations or industry initiatives shaping the future of hydrogen-based steelmaking?
Yeah, a lot of collaborations happening, particularly with in the space, say like example, Vale, how the business strategies are changing. Vale is coming up, even they are thinking to come up with HBI, with the briquettes. So pellet to briquettes is one transition as scope 1 feed. Then your companies to companies collaboration is happening. But every steel company is trying to have its own hydrogen unit, which I think is correct, because hydrogen technology, you have got various choices to do it. So that's what we are doing. So like we also have our own technology team. Jitendra leads the technology team of electrolyzers, etc. There are various options to do it, and these have already started, and initiations are there. So it is only going to mature, So your target score is known. You have to make in 1/8 runs maximum, which is possible to make it.
So my last question to you is if you had to predict, how do you envision the green steel industry will evolve over the next 10 years, and what steps should companies take today to stay ahead?
It depends on companies in this which value chain of business. Suppose company in the downstream lines, they should start thinking of this, because that will be their business sustainability through this market, new market penetrations. They can play in the space in export market where there is no competitors. Suppose if I go with my machine, and if I say my machine has got this kind of CO2 footprint, there will be no competition. But having said that, it is also depends on attitude of people. Suppose when you fly, how many times you check? Here in India, when you go from Mumbai to say Hyderabad, how much CO2 it evolves, or SpiceJet or Indigo, how much CO2 it evolves. When you start watching that numbers in our tickets, then I think the maturity of it is coming. Today's it is more reactive. We have to be more proactive. That's the habits, and I think that everybody should work towards that.
So with that, we've come to the end of today's episode. Thank you so much for sharing your insights and intel with our attendees. I'm sure they're going to benefit from this.
Appreciate. Thank you. Bye.
For our attendees who are online, if you'd like to view the current episode, if you've missed any part of the current episode, please go on YouTube, type GSW1 MSME, and you will find all the episodes uploaded there. Thank you once again, sir. Bye.
Bye.